Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning everyone. So can all of you hear my voice?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. So I'm the moderator for today. I'm Dr. Anis Fareham from Faculty of Computing, University Malaysia Pahang. Okay, I welcome Associate Professor TS Dr. Shamsul Azlan bin Muhammad from University Technology Mara. Welcome, Prof. Okay.
Thank you.
Actually, when we put the TS, normally our student yang macam tak get a knowledge about the TS salutation tu, biasanya mereka akan sebut Tan Sri. Okay. Mereka ingat TS stand for Tan Sri.
Pasti. Tapi saya
Alright.
ambil lah.
Itulah. Okay. So all of us are here today for having this workshop entitled Mastering the Art and Question Design with ChatGPT. Okay, let me give a brief about Prof. Dr. Shamsul. Okay, Prof have a PhD in education and master in educational technology. So he expertise in curriculum, e-portfolio, alternative assessment, learning and predictive analysis. So now he is a director of academic assessment and evaluation division in University Technology Mara. Okay, so all of us having this workshop. Okay, the objective of having this workshop is for us, especially educators and instructional designers, to dive into how can the ChatGPT create, okay, a high quality question, how we can design, okay, and explore the tools of ChatGPT. So where this ChatGPT is a very high powerful natural language processing tool, okay, and at the end of this workshop, we are hoping that we can uncover the significance of high quality question in education and discuss the Bloom taxonomy of learning as a framework for designing questions that promote critical thinking skill. So we will explore Socratic questioning techniques and their ability to encourage deep understanding and analysis among students. So tak perlu tunggu lama. Okay, I leave the floor to Prof. Okay, Prof.
Alright. Thank you, Dr. Anis. Assalamualaikum. And Alhamdulillah, good morning to all participants. I do believe that you're going to be excited because of nowadays we are talking about the artificial intelligence so much. Alright, so there are many platforms, there are many sharings has been discussed about the potentials and how can we harness the AI, especially for education. But before we start the session, I would like to thank to UMP Pahang, all right, because of inviting me. And I do believe that most of us maybe know or alert about the artificial intelligence, especially ChatGPT. But the today session is more talking about how can we use not only the ChatGPT but understand how can we utilize the Bloom taxonomy, and perhaps that with a certain what we call best technique, we can develop more questions, not only for the students in a summative form, but also we can prepare a question for the formative assessment. And perhaps for today's sessions, we do kind of like a hybrid. So I have a few of my friends here and also a friends from MS team. And I encourage all the participants maybe to ask me a questions, all right, on regards to make sure that we can benefit this session. All right. And for today sharing, okay, before we start to look at the potential of ChatGPT, we should understand how can we use it by having a little bit of understanding about maybe the strategy and how can we use the ChatGPT as a secondary or as an assistance, not totally rely, but also need to understand a basic knowledge that we should have, and how can we give the ChatGPT a very good prompt, and at the end of the day we can maybe harness more items, more questions, maybe more what we call something like that we want to put in our formative or summative assessment, especially we're talking about the item. All right. So um, I think that while talking about the artificial intelligence, I do believe that a lot of friends, for example, Prof. Karim mentions a lot about this, and I think that the recent webinar, Prof. Karim talked about the potential of AI, not only used for teaching and learning, but also can use for research. Okay, but for today's sessions, I would like to focus more on the assessment, and perhaps that it can enlighten us the best what we can do with the artificial intelligence. All right. So before I start with the session, it's actually I already provided a Padlet that we can share together, because of from the Padlet you can get access all the notes and also the activity. All right. So let me to share first the Padlet. Okay, I will share the link in the chat room. And those who are here as a physical, I will share you the QR code. All right. Okay, let me to share with others at chat. Okay, members from MS team. So these are the link. Members from here, I would like to share. Here is the Padlet. Okay. All right. Okay, for friends from this room, so you may can access this Padlet through QR code. So you maybe can use your mobile phone and get access this Padlet, because of this Padlet explains what are the synopsis of the programs, and also I already provided a keynote, the notes, and also the summary for today's session, come together with the prompts and also the examples from the ChatGPT for your future reference. All right, so you can get access this Padlet, and you also can share maybe with your friend after this session. All right, so I hope that all the participants from this room can get access. Is it okay? All right. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So I hope also friends from the MS team also get the link. Okay. As I mentioned before, all right. So these are the synopsis, and perhaps that if you have some sort of maybe free times, please add your post and introduce yourself, because I want to get know all of the participants. And I provide here is a survey. All right. This survey comprise a few questions. Okay, and these questions related to the artificial intelligence in assessment. So while listening my a little bit of presentation about artificial intelligence, you may can answer this survey, and you can get the result immediately by clicking this post. So, and you will see the result in the Padlet while you are assessing this link. All right. So a very simple question. I think that about 9 questions. Simple one. You may can answer this within 1 to 2 minutes. What do you understand about the artificial intelligence in assessment? All right. And these are the notes. All right. Provided here is the notes. There are a few examples, and also today's sessions all provided here, and also a few videos to support if you want to understand better. I provide here, there are 3 videos, and also the activity. Inshallah, we're going to through maybe about less than 2 hours, and also some sort of reference. I do believe that maybe some of you already get this reference outside there, maybe in the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn or whatnot. So these are the Padlet in which that we can use and utilize within the session and maybe after the session. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me to share with you maybe a little bit about what we can do with the ChatGPT or artificial intelligence. And okay. All right. Today we're talking about the mastering the arts of question design with ChatGPT. I do believe that we have a lot. We have bot, we have many artificial intelligence, but I think that it's quite in thing nowadays. We are talking about the ChatGPT because of the intensiveness and also the brilliance of the ChatGPT in giving us some sort of hypothetical solution or answers. So I think that most of us more inclined to use ChatGPT. And since like the ChatGPT has been introduced maybe about 2 or 3 months before, then I think that most of us already heard about it. All right. For this presentation, for this sharing, I will divide it into 3 sections. All right. The first section, how can we master the arts of designing ChatGPT, and how can we do some sort of conversion from another item to another item, and how can we develop the rubric, and after that we do grading and also marking. So inshallah within 1.5, I try my best at least to cover all of these 3 topics. And I hope that we can maybe see some sort of the simulations and how does the ChatGPT can give us some helps and assist us in assessment. All right. Um, while talking about assessment, so nowadays because of the helps of artificial intelligence, the thing become more easier because of we are talking about some the application that might help us. As I think that before this we use Google to search all the information, but the artificial intelligence is slightly advanced from the Google searching. And there are 3 things that we want to cover here. The first, number one, is the importance of having the high quality questions. Why we need to have a very high quality question? Because we are talking about measuring our students, not only producing a questions, but how does the question can be reflected to the student performance. And by looking at designing the questions, of course, as lecturers, we already understand about the Bloom taxonomy, but how can we extend our knowledge and utilize better using the Bloom taxonomy by adding Socratic questioning techniques. So I do believe that all the UMP's members already know about the Bloom taxonomy, but how we added the Socratic questioning technique. I think that more likely is quite new maybe for someone, but the questioning, the Socratic questioning technique give us the purpose, the reason why we need to design that questions. All right. And because we are talking so much about the technology, especially artificial intelligence, I want to highlight there are a few things from our Vice Chancellor. I like this paragraph because of she talking about the smart and the sharp skills. All right, because of we don't want the lecturers or students too depending on the technology without using their thinking. So what I can extract it from these sentences is while talking about the smart skills, we are talking about the persons can be used the ability of analytical thinking, strategic thinking, and they are able to come up with a solution to the complex problem solving. So meaning that not only for the students, but also for the lecturers, how we can strategize to use the technology by looking at the ability of analytical and strategic thinking. And we're talking about the sharp thinking. We are talking about how can we respond quickly by articulating, by curating, and optimizing all the resources. All right, so we have a lot of quite massive informations. How can we articulate the informations? How do you curate from many information into a one specific intended slide is not moving, all right? Mm, is it okay? All right. Is it all right? Okay, all right, okay. Okay, and how can we use a lot of informations, because of nowadays we have a lot of information, and nowadays with the artificial intelligence, all the information can be requested according to our preference. But the question here is how can we articulate and curate, and how can we optimize the information, because of there are a lot and massive information you can get at one time. All right. Okay, this is my survey, specifically has been done at UITM. All right, just to give you some sort of ideas. Maybe at UMP after this you can do some sort of similar survey. This survey has been done 2 months ago. All right, so it might be not significant now, but it give us some sort of um, a little bit of what we call holistic view, what's actually happened to the students. All right, this question is very easy. Are you familiar with the utilization of ChatGPT or other artificial intelligence? At that particular of time, 905 nines, they are unsure. And I do believe that all the lecturers also can be part of the unsure things. All right, but there are 6 to 9 they are using the chat GPT or the artificial intelligence, and there are the rest about less than there are about 700 of students they're not knowing they don't know about the artificial intelligence. They don't even bother about the artificial intelligence. All right, and that's the reason why while talking about the proficiency, the means like 2.43 because of the students not so much aware about the use of artificial intelligence back to 2 months ago. All right, but again, by asking them about do they have the ability to find the resources, curating the resources without having artificial intelligence? Yes, they have that skills. Meaning that our curriculums, our courses, I do believe that we are maybe directly or indirectly teach them on how to use all these resources, and they have that skill set. Just a matter of how can we reuse all the skill set and bring them in the context of artificial intelligence. All right, same goes with optimizing resources, and same goes with how can they um, choose and select appropriateness and also the relevancy of resources. So meaning that all these skill set already there. Just a matter of you need to introduce them with the use of artificial intelligence. All right. So these are the what we call what is so called. I divided into what do you mean by the smart skills, sharp skills, and I always say that the technology is always mediator. All right, because of the technology is keep on changing. Maybe today and now we are talking about ChatGPT, but sooner or later there are any application might be replace the functions of ChatGPT. All right, then, but the smart skill and the sharp skill, something that can be permanent, can be upgraded because of analytical thinking, optimization, articulation, curation is something that skill required not only by the students, but also by the lecturers. All right. So I don't want to take so much about what do we understand, talking so much about the Bloom taxonomy, but I want to a little bit of exaggerating the contents of Bloom taxonomy by looking at the knowledge dimensions. All right. So if you are reading about the Marzano and Kendall's, they are not looking at the difficulties of the Bloom taxonomy, but how can we categorize the knowledge based on the 4 dimensions. So we can asking knowledge by factuals, by conceptual, by procedurals, and by metacognitive. And we can use this one vertical and horizontally, but provided here I put some maybe examples of verbs. You maybe can use this verb and extend into the synonym, and you can find another verb with the same levels of dimensions and also difficulty. So this will give you the idea that we can create question based on the purpose, based on the difficulty, and also based on the knowledge dimensions. All right. Okay. Now we are talking about the Socratic questioning technique. So what means by Socratic questioning techniques? Asking students with a specific questions. asking student with the intended questions, because of not questions really work with the students. All right. Normally, we like and we tend to use clarification types of questions. For example, dah makan ke belum? Saya dah makan, so clarify. And most of us like to use clarification most of the time, not only for the formative assessment, but also for the summative assessment. You can ask through open-ended question, you can ask through maybe a test, you maybe can ask this question through final examination. And also you can ask this question through project-based or problem-based assessment. But there are a lot of potential in creating questions. For example, challenging assumptions, asking students with a different point of view, open up some space to the students, get a little bit of different response, and they will encourage the student to think critically and also let them to communicate their idea and have maybe some sort of argument and also discourse in the class. All right. Type number 3, we are talking about the evidence and reasoning. Who say that? Can you provide me some sort of evidence? Who say this? All right. Ini biasanya digunakan oleh pelajar-pelajar daripada Faculty of Law lah. All right. If you want to say something A, give me some sort of the evidence to support the A. And then normally, while in the perspective of research, if you are using that citations, if you want to say something about that variables, so what are the citation support that maybe variables or maybe that statements. All right. So every time you're asking student to have some sort of when they get the finding, please provide me or provide us with the evidence. And somehow, if you like, we are looking at the type number 4. We are talking about the alternative viewpoint. Somehow the questions not asking student directly to agree with at certain one point, but it can be multi-diverse point. So maybe Dr. Arif, they have some sort of point B. Dr. Musab, they have maybe a point C. So maybe Dr. Azfar, you have maybe some sort of point D. So how can we use all of these points and we do some sort of summarize and try to agree and disagree and come up with one solution, or maybe what we call some agreement and disagreement about that context. All right. And the type number 5 is something that very unusual, very usual, meaning that we always asking question to the student, implication and consequences. All right. So what happened now? We have some sort of very our weather is not good. It's quite hot. So what the implication and the consequences? All right. So maybe the ministry not allowed the student to have extra activity outside there because of the weather quite hot. So maybe you have to replace with some sort of another activity. So what are the implications and consequences? What happened to you if you ate durian more than supposed to be? You're supposed to be. I tengok hari ni, semalam I lalu dekat kawasan gambar ni banyak orang jual durian. So quite tempting. All right. So what the effects of eating durian more than it's supposed to be, become hot and whatnot. So this question is quite interactive, quite attractive, but the question here is how can you design the question appropriately. And the number 6, you are talking about the challenging the question. When the lecturer asking a questions, the student can ask you back the questions. So normally it's happened to if you have a postgraduate student, they are likely to use this kind of approach because of we want to get more response and more feedback. All right. Okay. Now we want to have some sort of visit to the ChatGPT. All right. So I hope that now we are doing a little bit or more on hands-on. I hope that most of the participants here can follow the steps. All right. So I give you some sort of disclaimer. Maybe the prompt may be the same, but the output may be different because of the artificial intelligence can give you a various hypothetical solution and answer. Maybe, for example, Arif and Musa, they will get a different answer while they are having the same prompting that I provide to you. All right. And if you're aware, in the Padlet, all right, I already shared with you the prompt. All right. So if you look at the activity one, those are the prompt that you can use. All right. You just can copy and paste and put it in your ChatGPT. All right. Because of I want to make sure that every each of us not left out. Then I already provided here to make us more easier to get access and also to experience the use of ChatGPT. All right. Okay. Okay, now, all right, while talking about the artificial intelligence is not limited to the ChatGPT, but today context, we are talking about the ChatGPT. So what's so much different with Google Bard and whatnot? I do believe that you know about it. But for the ChatGPT, most of the database of the ChatGPT is actually from the year of 2021 and down there. So meaning that tahun 2021 dan ke bawah. So meaning if you are asking the ChatGPT something related with 2022 and above, it's a quite difficult to get the answers because of the machine learning is not working at that, the machine learning not looking at that particular database. And if we are discussing or if we are talking about the ChatGPT, it looks like we are having some sort of conversations with a person. So you're asking question, the ChatGPT will reply you the answers, and the ChatGPT have two versions nowadays. They have a 3.5, the free versions, and they have 4.0, the paid version, that more extensive, that more brilliant from the GPT 3.5. And the way that ChatGPT works, it based on you generate the questions, the AI will respond, they will give you the response, and the ChatGPT can summarize your text processing, they can tabularize your text processing, and we will get the experience. But for those who are not subscribing, because of we are conducting this workshop maybe about 40 plus something, so you maybe have some sort of limitation in terms of getting the answer. Mungkin orang kata macam ada traffic sedikit because of you are subscribing for the free account. Alright, so nanti dia akan kata macam there are limited of responding, that you have to wait 1 hour and whatnot. So these are maybe some sort of hiccup that we might be faced, but again, I hope that it can be done. All right. Okay. When you Google search, all right, so you will get the ChatGPT. All right. So for me and myself, I already you can sign up. All right. Those who are not having this account, you can sign up by using your Google account, common Google account, much easier. I do believe that if you start create your account, you will forget your password and username. So to make the life easier, just use continue with Google. So you can continue with Google. All right. And you can choose any emails that you think that you want to design it for your ChatGPT. But for myself, I already signed up and I'm using continue with my Googles, and I'm using my official university emails for my account. All right. Okay. 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 These are the interface of ChatGPT. All right. So why my screen and your screen may be different? Because of I am subscribing this ChatGPT. All right. So that's the reason why you can see that I have 3.5 and GPT-4. All right. So when you click it on the GPT-4, meaning that this is something that you need to subscribe monthly. All right. So okay, before we go, I'm explain further about this one. All right. So what's so much different between ChatGPT 3.5 and 4? The 3.5 is the fastest models. If you want to use it, GPT-4 for your everyday task, something that you can use it. But if you want something that more reasoning, more advanced, give you more creative answers, then you have to subscribe $20 per month. It's something like less than ringgit Malaysia. So meaning that you have to sacrifice your McDonald's for 5 times. Alright, 20, sebulan makan McDonald's 5 kali. So RM100 and just pay for that $20. But you can cancel the subscription because of somehow you nak gunakan pada waktu itu sahaja. Maybe you want to use it for 1 month, pay $20, then use it for 1 month, then start everything, create everything and whatnot. Then after that you can cancel the subscription. And for myself, macam konon-kononnya macam nak subscribe sebulan tapi macam dia tersubscribe. Alright. So these are the plan, alright. So meaning that you have to pay about $20 a month. They can give you the answers, but based on my experience, if we can set the parameter, so they will help us. They will help you to give more accurate answers. So you have to play on creating a good prompt. And one more thing here is while chatting with ChatGPT, it looks like macam kita buat incremental prompting. So asking question sampai kita rasa puas hati dengan jawapan yang kita nak. So then you will see the pattern, and when you understand the pattern, and you can start to create your own prompting because you already understand the language and the pattern. So for the since last 2 months, I just want to understand the language and the pattern, and then I can come up with a good prompt for my in harness more questions. So the prompting that I share with you based on my experience, understand the language and pattern. All right? Okay, thank you. Can continue, right? Okay, thank you so much for the technical team. Already sort out all the issue. All right. So now we go back to the screen. Not this one. All right. Go back to the screen. So now we want to look at the chat GPT. Okay. All right. Okay. This is why I talk about subscription. But I'll give you one tips. I'm not using my debit card. I'm not using my credit card. I'm using BigPay. BigPay because of the currency quite dynamic and it's not fixed. So apa yang I buat ialah I guna BigPay. I masukkan duit RM100. Ada bulan tu I only pay about RM80, but not more than 100. So for the investment to get some sort of value when purchasing, so I would encourage to use BigPay. Alright. I try to avoid using credit card or debit card, bimbang fraud and whatnot. So BigPay ni because I tak simpan duit dalam tu, just masukkan duit sikit-sikit saja dan for the time being quite safe. Alright. Okay. Okay. A little bit of what we call experience using a payment online, right? So, okay, now we want to focus at how can we integrate the Bloom taxonomy and also Socratic question technique, but we will start with the MCQ questions. All right. So, how can we work with in our browse? So, the work here is easy. All right. So what you need to do here is you go to the Padlet, go to the activity 1, and you copy. All right. And you copy for the first prompt. All right. So I copy here, and I give you a different. I will explain to you what's so much different between ChatGPT 3.5 and 4. So for myself, I will try both, and at least you can see the comparison. All right, so now we start with ChatGPT 3.5. So I provide the instruction. So why we need to start with the instruction? Because of it looks like we want to converse with them. So I would like to set some parameters to make sure that while discussing about that topic, the ChatGPT not give me too what we call too much information. So I want to have a little bit of control in my discussion. All right. So I click here. Okay, ignore all the previous instructions, ignore, maybe because of, for if you look at my screen, I have a lot of conversations, so I don't want that, I don't want the ChatGPT maybe retrieve and retract what has been discussed between me and ChatGPT before this. So I ask the ChatGPT to ignore all the previous instructions, and I put you are the expert in assessment. If you, for example, if you want to change this parameter, for example, you are the experts of engineer, you can change it. You are the experts of maybe medical doctors, you can change this parameter because of, for today's session, we want to talk about the assessment. So I put it assessment as the context uh, in these questions. And you are helping educators for 20 years because of the database 2021 and the down there. So I put it here 20 years. And you are now, you are tasked to give the best advice, changing assessment, and you must always asking question before you give the answers. Sebelum bagi jawapan, minta dia tanya kita dulu. Do some sort of confirmatory questions. Betul tak ini yang kita nak? Alright? So, tapi bila you gunakan, but while you are using ChatGPT 3.5, normally they ask you to go ahead sahaja. Alright, now I'm using the same prompting, but this time around I nak guna ChatGPT 4. Alright, so you will see the difference. She or he a bit slower, but they will asking you a questions. Alright, I understand the instruction. I will strive to provide the most relevant by asking clarification question before answering, and let's to proceed. So nampaknya for ChatGPT 3 and 3.5 and 4 give us about similar answer. Okay, now I want to put in context. All right. Okay. So now I go to the ChatGPT 3.5. Okay. If you can see from this statement, there are some sort of bracket there. All right, the bracket. All right, these are the bracket. Okay, this bracket can be changed. Okay, for this question, I'm asking clarification questions. What if I want to change to another questions? For example, evidence reasoning. You just replace with evidence reasoning. So it's referring to the 6 types of questions. If, for example, if you want to have the question challenging assumption, just change it based on the purpose. All right? Okay. That's number 1. So what kind of question that you want? From the 6, you may choose one. Clarification, evidence reasoning, challenging assumption, implication consequences. All right, you can choose. All right. With the Bloom taxonomy and knowledge dimension, the Bloom taxonomy has been known have 6 levels. So there is no issue for the ChatGPT. But the ChatGPT quite unfamiliar while talking about knowledge dimensions. You maybe can put every each 4, or maybe you nak letak 1 atau 2 sahaja. No problem. Alright, for example, you want to have maybe knowledge dimension focus on factual and conceptual. You can put that one. But if you want to have all, then up to you. All right. And use formative assessment is a topic. It's something that you want to ask. For example, in my context, I want to use formative assessment, or I can change into rubrics. Or maybe kalau dalam bidang engineering, you want to change into thermodynamic, into fluid mechanics, or if you are from computer science, you want to talk about machine learning, you want to talk about database, you want to talk about programming, you can change the context or the topic accordingly. All right. So for me and myself, for example, I want to use a topic diagnostic assessment. Okay. Okay. Based on my experience, okay, kalau if I remove create in table, all right, they will give you the answer like this. So for me, I don't like so much if the answer in the forms of point 1, point 2, point 3. So I more prefer if the answer in the forms of table, all right? Okay, so then it's much easier for you to see, all right, the knowledge dimensions, the Bloom taxonomy, and the choice, the questions, the possible question that you can opt, all right? And you have to be remember, this question is challenge assumptions, all right? Challenge assumptions. Okay, this question just a start, all right? It's not the absolute maybe questions that you want. It's just a good start, all right? So from these questions, you know that uh, while talking only about diagnostic assessment, but these are the potential of question that maybe I can choose and select and put in my maybe test or final examinations. So what I want to do next, all right? So we try to, okay, copy the third prompt, okay, and then paste it here. Now I request the ChatGPT propose one complex MCQ questions related to diagnostic assessment, four alternative answers. Normally, if we design MCQ, we always have four alternative answer. Maybe one right answer or three wrong answer. And I set the duration of the questions within 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you want to have less, you can set less. If you want to have more, you can set more. But I usually set about maybe 1 minute to 1 minute and 30 seconds. So, and we give the prompt, and now the ChatGPT provide you with the questions and the answers. All right. And they give you the durations, the correct answers, and the incorrect answers. All right. So what if the same context, you want to ask another maybe 10 questions, you just can request. For example, provide me 10 complex and 10 similar questions. All right, with similar context, right? Okay. Then they will start to provide you the 10 multiple choice of questions, all right, with the similar context. Okay. Now, I do believe that you're going to be so excited because of they give you a massive item questions. This is where like you have to use your analytical thinking and creative thinking to really sort the questions. Sebab tu saya katakan tadi, yes, they offer us like a many options. This is where like you have to articulate, you have to optimize, and you have to really curate the question, pick and choose which one is the best for you. Because of not all provided by ChatGPT, so-called a hypothetical solution is good for you. All right. So, but at least they give us some sort of more options, more maybe helps in designing questions. Okay. But by looking at this question, I still not satisfied with the answers. What I can do more? Okay, I asking for the fourth prompt. All right, I start to delegate the question from C1 until C6, and I use diagnostic assessment as the topic. So we will see. All right. So we will see that only having one single topic. So now we can discover the question from C1 until C6. All right. So they give you more options. All right. All right. They give you more options, and you can use these options and start to create more questions. All right. So this is where like I cannot say that this is the end point of creating a question, but give you some sort of the idea how can you expand the potential of the questions, and how can you expand more idea to have more good questions in your test or final examination. All right. Okay. If you look at ChatGPT 3.5, it looks like if the ChatGPT easily can give you the answers. Very simple. You're asking question, the ChatGPT reply back to you. Okay, why not? I'm using the same prompt, but this time around I'm using GPT 4.0. Is it different? I can say that it might be different. Okay. So now I go to the model GPT-4, asking the same questions, but this time around they will give you more, they were asking you more questions, right? Sudah akan tanya, okay, certainly incorporating Bloom taxonomy and Socratics. Okay, to start, look at the factual knowledge. Can you tell me what is your current understanding is of diagnostic assessment? What facts do you already have about their purpose and how they function in education setting? So you need to give the input to the ChatGPT. So now it seems like two different things. The 3.5 just give you whatever that you want, but GPT-4 try to understand what do you want before they can provide you with the hypothetical solution. It's slightly different, right? So that's the reason why the GPT-4 give you more creative answers and more what we call analytics answers, right, for you to use. Okay. And all right, so from here, do you have any questions before we go further? All right, okay. So meaning that, for example, okay, kalau misal kata I nak extend a bit, okay, I choose C6 MCQ, right? Please prepare me possible answers, one right, three wrong, and give feedback. All right, okay. So from here, all right, now you can have the questions, you can have the possible answers, you can have the right answers, you can also have the incorrect answers, but this time around they give you the feedback. So I think that the most valuable thing is giving feedback to the students. So if you are using maybe your LMS, normally you provide student with the right and wrong answer, but after this you maybe can provide them with the feedback, just to give maybe extra value when the student maybe just answer the wrong answer, and you help them by having a very simple feedback to them. So this one you can customize accordingly. It depends on you. All right. So even if you want to improve the questions, for example, all right, I copy these questions. Could you improve these questions? All right. Allow more analytics, and critical thinking. You request and they start to redesign the questions. All right. So meaning that one, if you want to redesign the questions, can you improve the answers? Yes. Okay. Please improve every possible answers with word limits. All right. Within 10 to 15. Is it possible? Yes, possible. So the reason why you need to refine the word limit, because of you tak naklah nampak macam soalan panjang nampak macam betul, soalan pendek nampak macam salah. So you want to have some sort of familiarity in terms of looking at that questions. Orang panggil sebagai face validity kan. So dia tengok questions tu macam, oh ini macam lebih kurang je kan. So you can increase the level of security or the levels of validity of that question by looking at face validity. You can do that. Tak ada masalah. Alright. But again, it's still under your creativity. So meaning that you can do adjustment every time, and this will help you to find the best questions, MCQ question, for example. Right? Okay. For the activity one, so far is okay. All right. You can do it step by step. Do you have any answers? All right. The questions. GPT, wildcard. So I never tried that one, but we can try. Okay. Um, I'm not so sure, but we can try. But we can try. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Can we proceed for the next activity? All right. So we proceed for the next activity. Okay. Activity number 2. Okay. From the MCQ, we want to do some sort of conversion. So can I from MCQ convert into different writing item? For example, to have short essay, maybe to have open-ended questions, or maybe to have a different types of writing item. All right, so you can do it. Okay, so now
Prof,
we go back to the, yes,
maaf,
yes.
screen Prof freeze lah.
Memang saya tak share lagi, belum share lagi.
Okay.
Saya belum share screen lagi. Okay, baru nak share. Alright. Okay, now we go to the screen. Okay, go back to the ChatGPT. Alright. So now, what we want to do here is, we want to do some sort of conversion. Alright. With the same context, with the same parameters. Now, we go to the activity 2. Alright. So, apa yang I nak buat adalah, alright, I want to create another one more conversations, create a new one. Okay. But I need to copy paste this answer. All right. I need to copy paste this answer. All right. Okay. Go back to the new conversation. Just paste this answer. All right. Okay. Klik je, tak apa biarkan. All right. She will do her part. Dia akan cakap lah. Okay? Dia akan beritahu lah panjang lebar lah. Okay, never mind. Because of I want to work with the new conversation. All right. So what you can do from here, all right, I want to change, I give this prompt, change this MCQ into what kind of writing item that you intended to explore. All right. For example, I want to change this MCQ in the forms of maybe all right. So Sekejap ya. Yes, you can have a different finding. Alright. Okay, for example, when you copy paste, dia bagi you jawapan macam ni. Macam pelik ini macam pelik kan? So can you revise? Yes, you can revise. So meaning that change the MCQ, alright, into short essay, maybe yang I tinggal questions. Alright. So submit. Right. So they will give you a very simple short essay question. For example, if you think that the MCQ question maybe not really satisfy your need, you want to change another writing item, you still have an options, but maybe the option here is short essay questions. All right. So now this is the examples of the short essay questions, but I still looking at this short essay question not really satisfy me because of there are a lot of things need to be improved. Okay. So what you need to do here is, while you're having a short essay questions, what you need to do here is to compose the answer scheme. All right. So my next prompt here is compose the answer scheme. So the bracket there marks and the standard. So how many marks that you want to give? For example, you want to give 5 marks. All right. You want to give them 5 marks. So what do you mean by standards? All right. Maybe the standard here is wait, yeah. Okay. The standard here is maybe how many keywords that you want. For example, 5 marks, you have 5 keywords. Maybe you have 5 marks, you have 2 keywords. Maybe you have 5 marks, you have 10 keywords. But here, I have keywords. Okay. Then, right. Sekejap this is what actually happened. You nampak tak? Bila I tak letak the instructions tu, dia keluar benda-benda macam ni. So that's the reason why we need to start with the instructions. So memang purposely I tulis paste, copy paste supaya nak bagi you all nampak bahawa kalau I tak letak statement yang awal tadi, dia akan jadi begini. So nanti you keep on doing revise and revise. So it's quite difficult for you. Alright. Dia baru dapat. Nampak tak? Baru dapat. Okay. And the answer scheme is quite lengthy. Kan? Jawapan dia cuma 5 markah je and leave 5 keywords. So maybe I boleh revise. Yeah, whether limit words, mungkin kita boleh kata limit words. Um, 50. Kita cuba? Tak salah. Boleh begini ataupun kita boleh tukar juga dalam bentuk break into point. Alright. So this is where you have to find what is the best for you. So nampak dia keluar balik macam tadi. So ini saya katakan tadi, bila tak ada instruction awal tu dia akan selalu jadi begitu. Dan sebenarnya kalau break into point, you akan dapat begini. So can we shorten the point? We can shorten the point. Alright. Break into 5 point. So then you need to explore, ataupun you can remove the sub point. Boleh. Alright. So saya kena minta lagi ulang. So ini saya katakan tadi, kalau kita tak ada instructions tu, dia akan sukarkan sedikit kerja kita lah. Alright. But you will get the point. Okay. Okay. And now, alright. So apa yang saya nak buat adalah, okay. Okay. So if let's say you want to change into maybe if let's say you're not satisfied with this short essay, you want to create open-ended questions, you can ask them, okay, can we try different writing item? Now create for me an open-ended questions. Okay. Okay. While talking about open-ended questions, we always play with parameters. Okay, your open-ended questions, how many hours, how many days, how many weeks? So I want to set a little bit of parameters here. For example, prepare for 3 hours to complete this task. So the way that she or he or ChatGPT design according to the time, right? So you can see that, okay, imagine you have a 3 hours to complete the task, and then you give you the answer schemes. So this is the answer scheme. Nanti daripada answer scheme nanti kita boleh buat rubric. Alright. So you maybe can change and alter your parameters as such. Or maybe you can change the parameter into 1 week. Okay. And they give you a totally different. Or maybe if you want to go beyond and further, and maybe I can do some sort of revise, provide my students with a guiding questions. Boleh tak? Cuba. You see? So now, instead of somehow focus on the questions, you also can develop a guiding question to make sure the student can answer the question within the context. So ini pun boleh kita lakukan dan kita boleh buat. So it's more like macam saya katakan tadi, we need to have a little bit of information on what we want, then we can customize accordingly. Alright? So maybe if I want to improve more from this statement, open-ended questions by using Socratic questioning techniques. All right. So I choose implication and consequences. All right. Alright, kita betulkan sikit. Okay, one more thing. While I'm using ChatGPT, I'll also complement with Grammarly. So then you automatically you can improve your language and give you some sort of assistant lah. If you have the Quillbot also, it can help you. All right. So start to regenerate. Now your questions become more different, much better, and it will extend you a more direction on where the student can answer these questions. So it based on what you want and what you intended to do with these questions. All right. So now soalan ni dah nampak bertambah baik. Alright. What are the implications? The task duration is 1 week. So these are the open-ended questions with Socratic technique. So these are the guiding questions, and these are the notes. Alright. Okay. Okay. Alright. So what if I want to change into a very big project? Can we do that? Boleh? We use the same context, provide my student with a problem-based questions. Okay. Saya tukar yang ini. Duration of task is 2 week. Okay. Design task breakdown in table. Okay. Boleh tak? Boleh insyaAllah. Alright. Kita tengok. Now, saya kena betulkan sikit. Boleh? Boleh? Alright, nampak tak? So now, saya minta mereka buat open-ended questions, but currently I change the strategy into the problem-based question. I do believe that engineering members banyak buat problem-based and project-based. Alright, the duration is maybe 2 weeks, ada task breakdown, and you can create a table. Alright, so you can enhance accordingly. But if you have, for example, if you have your problem solving maybe have certain parameters, you can include the parameters. So maybe you have certain step, maybe. Nak share dengan saya, apa step tersebut? Ada step tak? Yang pertama kena buat apa? Problem identification, what more? Kalau siapa yang mahir problem base? Or project base? Kan? If you have the step and you want to design according to the step, you can give the parameter here. So for example, you can follow the step such, then you boleh follow the step. Number 1, apa? Number 2, apa? Number 3, apa? Then they will help and assist you according to the step. Okay? Alright. Okay. For example, I have all the output or all the input. Is it possible for me to copy paste and bring it into the words? Boleh. With this table. Alright, jadi kita tengok boleh tak boleh buat. Okay. Now, I try to open up my Google Docs. Alright. Okay, this is my Google Docs. Okay, let me to create one blank Google Docs. Yeah. Okay. Nampak Macam ni you kena selalu generate lah. Kadang-kadang saya pun banyak kali ulang nak dapat apa yang saya nak. So, alright. Okay, so when you regenerate, they will come up with a different things. So this is like macam you pakai a different user asking maybe different question, they will give you a different input. Sebab tu saya kata you can do a try out many times. Okay, for example I give you how it can be transfer from ChatGPT to the Google Docs. Easy. Copy this one. Okay. Copy. Alright. Copy. Put it here. You nampak dah ada table? Alright. Select all. Alright. Change the formatting. Let me to have it in singles. Okay, dan normal text. And you can break down the tables and you can edit this document. It seems like macam you edit document biasa lah. Alright. Okay. So meaning that you can do a copy and paste work here. Alright. So okay. But again, please do read and check. Don't immediately use this one and then terus execute dekat pelajar-pelajar. Janganlah. Kan kita orang akademik kan. dah nampak senang sangat, nanti macam, oi tak payahlah, tunggu jalan je kan, janganlah begitu. Bacalah satu persatu. Alright, sebab tu saya kata, if you can use the ChatGPT with Grammarly, with Quillbot, or maybe other tools, then it can benefit you more. Alright, jadi this one you can letaklah bowls, put in centers, kemudian boleh share dengan rakan-rakan yang berada di luar sana. So these are the question, duration of 2 weeks. And I think it's actually, if you want to be in detail in the form of strategy and whatnot, you can put an ad. So it based on you punya context, what do you want from here? Even though you can change the substance, For example, the topic and whatnot, you can change the context, you can do everything. All right. So this is where like it was very easy, at least to give us some sort of a start to design questions. So lepas ni maksudnya kalau nak buat soalan, dia bukanlah saya kata susah, dia tak susah because of it can give you some sort of idea, but the thing that you need to do is to how creative you are, how critical you are. Right? You need to start with yourself first. All right. So now we already have learned 2 activities. The first activity, how can we explore the potential of Bloom taxonomy and Socratic question technique by looking at the potentials or the variables, the potential questions. And we start with the MCQ, and we do a little bit of conversion from MCQ to the short essay to the open-ended questions. So now I want to bring you at the third activity. How can we develop a rubric using ChatGPT? All right. So we create a new conversation. Okay. You are very lucky because of I already provide you with the prompt. You just need to change the parameter. All right. So what I want to do here is don't do the same mistake. Not start with the instructions. So let me start first with the instruction. Just copy paste here. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, what you can do from here, okay, you can copy all of these text and I will read for you one by one. Because of this, prompting must be run one time together. All right. Okay. So I put it here. Okay. Number one, because of I already mentioned to you before, you need to assign the way that how the ChatGPT think in providing you a solution. So the first number one, take a role as an experienced lecturers. If you want to change into teachers, go to teachers. If you want to change into professional engineers, go. You can change. All right. Created a well-crafted, clear evaluation rubric, okay, for student in a table, in the form of table using student-friendly language. The student-friendly language too, you can change into something, no problems. But for myself, I want my rubric sound student-friendly. So that's the parameter that I set for these instructions. And because of our curriculum is rely into the MQF 2.0, so I just to put extra parameter. All right. Okay. All right. So now the first paragraph and the third paragraph, the first and the second paragraph is working. I think that one is chatting. So let me to unshare first. Okay. Okay, there's any study or research on how to using ChatGPT assessment and question to compare? Yes, there are a study, right? There are a study, but not so much based on my reading, not so much comprehensive, but they have some sort of idea talk about how to use ChatGPT and assessment, especially on harness the types of question. They already did that one, but to have a very specific book to talk about it, for the time being, no. Alright. Soalan yang dikeluarkan oleh ChatGPT lebih membantu pelajar untuk melaksanakan tugas in the if you design appropriately dan you design dengan cara yang betul, then it will help the students. Okay. Okay, kita pergi balik ke sini. Alright. So now, um, your learning outcome. For example, my learning outcome to apply knowledge and fundamental and categorize in alternative assessment related to creative teaching. This one is learning outcome khusus. If you have the learning outcome by topic, you also can replace with topic learning outcome. All right. Okay. And then followed by the properties. All right. So saya letakkan di sini, using the following scoring scale for the rubrics, you need to put what is your criteria. For example, I said that I have 3 criteria: ideas 10%, explanation 10%, original 10%, and every criteria sebenarnya adalah 30 markah. But if you have a different weightage, for example, idea 15, explanation maybe 5, you can do it by your own lah. Maybe yang ini 10, no problem, as long as dia 30. Alright, if you have 40, then go for 40. If 20, go for 20. And the last instruction here is the way that I want to look, the way that I require the table looks like. Right? I kata generate a rubric in the form of table. Saya nak first heading dia macam mana, second column dia macam mana. So I give the perincian, the detail because of I want them to provide me a good rubrics. Okay. While the instruction is already here, then start to click and they will provide you with the rubric. Okay, rubric for tens, rubric for 5, rubric for 15. Alright. So dibagilah you beberapa parameters. Okay. Kalau rasa tak puas hati, you can save and you can regenerate again. They will give you a different output. This time look much better. If you tak setuju, you can regenerate. And until you will get what you want. Alright. So it looks likely macam okay kan, tapi saya macam still tak puas hati juga. Maybe saya kata okay, tak apalah, I want to change maybe the parameters. Alright. Okay, macam kat sini kan, use the following scoring skill for the rubric blah blah blah. Alright. So I want to break this one. Use range. Alright. InsyaAllah they will give you a different input. Okay, 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15. You see? Alright. So you can change. Kalau misal kata you rasa macam tak best lah sebab nampak 30 tu kecil. Can I use as a weightage? Full marks 100. Boleh tak? Boleh? You see? Okay, kenapa dia keluar warna lain? Yang ini you boleh copy paste masuk dalam code. You boleh masuk dekat perisian-perisian yang boleh bantu you untuk scripting. Yang ni saya instruct tadi sebab different instruction. So nampak tak? Kali ni dia bagi a bit different. Much better. Alright? So ni maksudnya kalau you nak masuk dalam program, nak masuk scripting. So you can copy and masuk dalam you punya LMS, masuk kat bahagian script tu. So dia akan create table for you. Alright? Tapi kalau rasa macam ni tak nak lawan hitam, tak cantik. So somehow you will get this one. Alright? Sama je, lebih kurang je. Okay? So up to you. Okay? Alright. It's okay, never mind. Alright, never mind. Okay? Okay, ada banyak format yang kita boleh buat. It depends on you. Alright, but again, yang ini saya gunakan range, maka 100% ada weightage untuk setiap kriteria. So kalau misalnya kata tak nak, tak apa, it's okay. You can remove this one and you can stick with what you have before. Alright? Okay. Alright, this one, the simplest one. Alright? For example, the simplest one. So now, we now already have the rubric. So we want to do for the activity 4, how can we do a grading and marking? Okay? So what I want to do here is, okay, I will try my best to copy one student assignment. Alright? So, saya nak ambil satu student assignment. Katakan saya ambil, okay. The first number one, I copy paste the questions. Alright? With the same, at the same, sorry. Okay, at the same conversation, now I copy paste, here is the question designed for my students. Alright, share it here. Okay, then what I want to do next here is to copy my student answer. Alright, okay. Okay, here is my student answer. Copy here. Okay, I mentioned here, here is my student answer, could analyze and provide marks based on the rubric. Paste it here, and they will give you the scoring and also the total marks. So you can do a grading, give a feedback, then you can share this result with your student. But again, as I mentioned before, you need to read the context and try to use the ChatGPT as assistance. All right. Okay. So normally we not only have one student, we have more than one. So what I want to do next, I try to copy paste the second student answer. All right. So what I want to do here is, all right. Okay. These are the instructions. Okay. My instruction here, compare the marks. Okay. Using rubrics with the first student and the second student reflective writing in comparison tables. So as I click, so this ChatGPT will give you the comparison table between student number 1 and student number 2. So meaning that from here you can compare the student essay number 1 and student number essay number 2 using the rubric that we have constructed before, and these are the results that ChatGPT help us. But again, bacalah kan, you setuju tak dengan apa yang dia catat kat sini, right? Kadang-kadang kita boleh nampak dah senang ni, kita macam bersetuju je, boleh bersetuju je kan, tapi this is how it works. Okay, alright. Now, for example, if I read through all the essay, then some sort of collective idea by considering all the comment and merge as a one maybe essay to discuss, meaning that I collect all the G's from the students, I want to create new for me, and I want to use it to conclude everything for my next class. So what you can do here, maybe, okay, kadang-kadang kita tak tahu juga kan, is it able for me to chunk the idea? First, number one, I want to chunk the idea. All right, chunk the idea. So what makes the student one and student number two is different? You can chunk the idea. Okay. Okay, student one, when she or he talk about this idea, okay, these are the content, and these are the content of student number two. Same go with explanation, same go with the original. So meaning that we can see comparatively in terms of content. So what you can do next here is, okay, never mind. They have a very good idea, but now I want to combine the idea number one and idea number two and construct a new reflective writing within 500 words. All right. So meaning that you start to synthesizing all this student idea and form in one short essay and share with your student. Okay, student, you give me a very good input. So now I try to merge all the idea and share with you with one reflective writing, and you can read and you can use it. All right. So this is where like you can extend another more, not only creating a questions, but you're able to create more justified feedback to your students. All right. Okay. Right. Okay. Maybe some of the other friend maybe asking me what so much different between ChatGPT and Google Bard. So saya nak bawa tuan-tuan dan puan tengok Google Bard sekejap je. Alright. Because of if you are using Google Bard, the database is real time. Alright. And the database is normally in Google. It's a Google database. Alright. Saya nak buat tuan-tuan pergi kepada, okay, type here, go for Google, okay, alright. From here, type Google Bard. Okay. So these are the Google Bards, alright. Click here, alright. These are the interface of Google Bard. Dia tak macam lah ChatGPT tu macam sechat, nampak macam very chat box kind of thing. Ini pun sama juga. Alright. All of us can try this one. Okay. I try very simple je. Who is associate Jom kita tengok betul tak betul. Kita try ni dulu, very simple one. Alright. Dia tak adalah macam keluar macam typing kan. But dia keluar macam ni. What can I say here is, because of maybe I always updating my profile in the Google database, dekat LinkedIn ke, dekat mana-mana ke, I can say that this one is 100% right. Dia depends. Normally kalau macam LinkedIn tu, yes. Kalau you ada dekat Google Scholar, yes. ResearchGate, yes. Kan? Jadi maybe some of you akan dapat different input ataupun mungkin tak betul. Never mind. Just want to share with you the accuracy of the information somehow kadang-kadang tak tepat pun. Okay. Dan for example, if I want to design a question by using a Google Bard, you all boleh guna same prompting. Contoh saya ambil lah prompting yang daripada sini Boleh tak Google Bard ni hasilkan soalan yang sama macam ChatGPT? Saya boleh katakan boleh. Alright? Boleh. It's possible. Right. Nampak? Possible. Alright? So, cuma tinggal apa yang you nak tu mungkin tak sama lah. Because of the nature of programming language by Google Bard and ChatGPT is totally different. Alright? But you can try. Okay? You can try. Okay? Boleh je. Kalau you nak try to have the MCQ, copy paste here, letak saja. Is it possible? I guess possible. Agak sedikit lambat because of the database. Nampak? Alright, it's possible. Right? Nothing is impossible with ChatGPT lah ataupun Google Bard. InsyaAllah boleh. Right? And can we extend more? We try our best to extend more. Kita cuba sampai maksimum kebolehan dia. Alright. Possible. Look, possible. Alright. So meaning that if you think that macam oh lama nak spend 20 USD ataupun nak pakai ChatGPT macam ada macam word limits and what not, you can try Google Bot dan you boleh export to the Excel sheet. Itu yang bagusnya. Right? You can export and you can open your sheets dan boleh buat di sini. So while Google using their environment, meaning that it will offer you more productivity lah. So macam ni saya rasa something like macam senangnya kan sebab semua boleh diintegrasikan dalam platform dan I think that sooner or later Google Bard and ChatGPT Google Bard ni akan improve dan nampak tak? Dah siap dah. Apa yang nak kena buat tambah table je. Alright. So dah siap. So tidak ada sebab lah maksudnya susah nak buat. Alright. I nak share you satu lagi. Apps. AI juga. Tapi yang ini nanti you mesti macam aku tak payah buat kerja macam ni. Kan? Is the Gamma apps. Pernah cuba Gamma? Gamma. Gamma. It's a AI content generated. Takut kan dengar kan? Jom kita cuba satu. Okay. I created a new AI, but this one I gunakan guided. Okay. Dia akan tanya, you nak buat presentation, documentation or web page? Katakanlah pagi tadi tak sempat nak buat slide, I katalah I nak buat presentation. Okay. Apa topik dia? Artificial Intelligence in higher education assessment. Okay. Jom kita tengok apa dia boleh buat. Dia provide you the outline. Okay. Katakanlah kita bersetuju dengan outline ni. Alright. Pilih template. Contohlah I nak template ni. Continue. The content will be generated by AI without having any single touch by you. I mean it can be easy for us, tapi kalau kita tak gunakan dengan berhati-hati, kita akan nampak kurang cerdik lah. Kan? Jadi kita kata ada cara mudah untuk buat, tapi at the same time we also need to use our analytical thinking, creative thinking. Ini semua melibatkan curation, articulation and optimization. Memang dia boleh provide you all the information. Alright? You boleh edit. You boleh feed the input and you boleh edit the input. It is editable input. But they give you certain outline. Alright? So if you want to present, for example, tak sempat lah katanya tak sempat tadi. Then it came, dia akan jadi presentation. Again. Sorry. Okay. Presentation. Alright. So you cannot stop the AI, how they grow, but you can advantage the use of AI untuk mudahkan kerja kita, tapi jangan sampai dia membuatkan kita jadi tidak cerdik lah. Kan? So itu yang paling merisaukan saya adalah itu. Because of we are to rely on the AI until kita macam malas nak buat kerja kan. Jadi Dan sebenarnya I just have some sort of a try. Contohnya kan, saya memang takkan buat lah. Maksudnya yang hari ni punya session, sebenarnya I letak input sikit saja, tapi I able to generate a website. This one is a website version. Tapi yang ni saya dah edit sikit, dah betulkan sikit dan sebagainya. So, meaning that ini baru gamma apps. So we have more. Alright. So for example, we have some sort of maybe you can extract the ChatGPT, become the mind map using scripting. Itu pun menarik juga. So you dapat information daripada you get the codes from the ChatGPT and you transfer the code and build the mind map. Also possible. So there are a lot of what we call think aloud is fair if lecturer curate assessment queue question using ChatGPT, then the student will allowed to find. Alright, for a time being, kalau kita lihat kepada advisory notes daripada MQA ataupun KPT, it seems like they are allowed to have this process. But it's just a matter of how can we prevent, how can we think about the academic integrity. And currently, if you're asking me, there are any software can detect the misconduct related to AI? Yes. I have visited 2 conferences. The first conference is Turn-in. Turn-in currently they have the features of AI to detect the similarity. Same goes with Grammarly AI. I already attend the webinar. They provide me the demonstrations and how does the Grammarly can detect the AI. I think that sooner or later they will preventive measures. Dia macam kita create a virus and they will think about the antivirus. So sooner or later, yes. Alright, maaf tanya sebab saya tak ada research data untuk faham kesan pada pesyarat dan pelajar yang paling kesan. Alright, maybe UiTM ada data sikit. Okay, data yang saya kongsikan tadi Dr. Aisyah adalah data 2 bulan sebelum ChatGPT ataupun any artificial intelligence orang kata macam betul-betul digunakan oleh pelajar. 2 bulan lepas memang banyak yang not aware, they don't have that competency, but I do believe that dalam masa sekarang ni student catch up. The lecturer also catch up. Because of, kenapa dia catch up? Because of kita buat banyak webinar sharing, so they start to think about it, they start to use it. So that's the reason why we need to revisit our policy. For example, UiTM, we already looked at our policy. We also subscribing the application that can detect the AI works, and at the same time also we provide a lot of training. Yes, you can design the question with artificial intelligence, but how to manage it, how to make sure that the questions is brilliantly created by you. So not totally rely or depends on the AI totally. Alright, boleh buat proposal. Yes. Boleh Dr. Nizam ataupun Encik Nizam, boleh. Tadi kalau you lihat tadi dekat dalam gamma tadi, sorry I back to gamma. Saya dah delete ke? Sekejap Gamma apps, create new AI, text to Dex, boleh. Alright. Okay, adakah, baguslah soalan Dr. Aisyah ni, adakah vetting XM ataupun assessment queue masih relevan? Okay, that's the reason why kita gunakan preventive software tu, while vetting tu we run with the software. So meaning that our vetting technique, our vetting procedure need to be changed. So we cannot use the traditional vetting skill set. So we need to come up with a new procedures to make sure that the vetting process can address all of this issue. So now currently we are revisit the whole assessment, walaupun kita dah semak banyak kali, but currently we still looking at how can we improve the process, especially on vetting, questioning, question bank dan sebagainya. So there are a lot of works need to be focused and need to be do. Alright. Okay. So I think that that's only my sharing for today. I hope that it can benefit to all of you. I think it's just a sharing. I cannot say that I'm expert on this, but I hope that with my experience and sharing maybe a few steps can help the lecture. I do believe that the lecture can explore more and can do better and can provide more best practice on using AI. Not only for assessment but also for teaching and learning. I think that nowadays nak buat lesson plan pun senang je. Alright.
Sir, one
Okay.
last question.
Alright.
Can you share the name of the station for ChatGPT to find the article?
Kejap. Google search.
Google search.
Chat for. I try share dekat dalam Padlet. After this, let me to check my extension, and I will share in the Padlet later. Alright. Okay. Okay.
Okay, now we talk about legalism and student success. How you know now that is our
Part.
question,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
What about the other side?
From the student perspective.
Two sides of our
Mm. Yep.
the idea of using AI.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
so how do we counteract that
All right. Okay.
at the moment?
At the moment, all right. I share my best practice at UITM. All right. Okay. At UITM, we believe on preventive. We are not believe on punish the people at the end, punish the student at the end when they submit, then we punish them. So I think that that one is not is unfair. So what we did here is we do a lot of preventive. For example, we are subscribing application that helps student, and this application was integrated in our LMS system. Immediately, you will force the student to use the LMS because of they need to submit the assignment through the LMS. And within that LMS, we have the similarity features, and also we have the AI to detect the academic misconduct. So far, from the technology side, it happened that way. In the perspective of training, educating, awareness, that's come from my department. So we need to always engage with the student, educate them, and train them how to use it. So ini dia akan melibatkan digital ethics, privacy and security. So these are the things yang you need to um, continuously tell to your students and let them to understand the do and the don'ts. Alright. Our way is more like preventive. Kan kalau punish tu macam kesian kat dia kan. Sebenarnya dia lah, of course lah, student they want to complete the assignment, that's it. But at the end you punish dia orang, dan sebenarnya dalam konteks UiTM, if the student copy and we identify that the copy dan dia plagiarize, kita boleh kenakan dia fail with dismissal. So it's very strong. Kalau nak kena punishment, it's very strong punishment lah. So because of the preventive measure kita dah buat, but still student still nak buat juga, they have to bear the consequences. Sebab itu when we start the semester, apa yang berlaku adalah they have to declare through academic pledge. So dia buka dia punya screen ada academic pledge, so they have to take the academic pledge. So whatever happen to them related to the academic misconduct, we can, yes. So quite itu ketat lah. Tapi kita kata just to okay, hati-hati jangan buat. Right? Gitu. To detect the students. Okay. Currently, we currently from the LMS part, we are integrated all the similarity and AI detections. So currently we are working, we are using original, soon authenticate, plus Grammarly, and also Quillbot. So we have a few options. For example, if the student intended to submit only assignment, not paper publication, not thesis, you can choose for original. If the postgrad want to submit maybe their papers, maybe their thesis, you can use the authenticate. If you want to do some sort of maybe easy work to preventive or whatnot, you can use Grammarly. But the investment is not so. One application that fits for all. So you need to buy based on numbers, based on your needs. So you tak payah beli banyak-banyak, tapi you beli itu dia boleh digunakan. So this is where that we how we strategize to address all those issues. Right.
You mentioned about Grammarly reports for the kids. Are those subscribed by UiTM?
Subscribed by UiTM. We spend about million for that. It's a way forward because of you cannot control the AI to coming in, and you cannot control how the lecture is being used, right? So what you can do is the preventive measures, but it must come with investment. But I do believe that it's a good investment. Zero GPT. Yeah, that one is the preventive application. There are a lot, but technically yang boleh offer you a massive service, these are those parties lah. And I do believe that it's going to be more and a lot in future. All right. So hopefully, I still learning, I still investigating because of my department is taking care of assessment and evaluation. We do quite frequent meetings and also discussion about this AI in assessment. We are talking about the validity, reliability, and fairness, consistency, and whatnot. So I do believe that there are a lot of things we need to learn. I also still exploring, do a lot of discussion with Karim and the team members, MQA and whatnot. So, but again, I do believe that we need to explore. When you explore, then you will see how to overcome this issue. I think that in terms of the teaching skill, it still rely on person, on the lecturers. It's just a matter of you can give, you can have much better in terms of preparations, in terms of content wise, in terms of maybe design a question that allow the student to engage, maybe. But I think that solely is depending on how you as a lecturers deliver your content and do your assessment. Right? Kadang-kadang banyak tools pun kadang-kadang if the lecturer itself dia tak boleh mengajar pun tak guna, no use juga, tak boleh juga. Kan? Mungkin in terms of mechanical, yes, but in terms of delivering, you as a lecturer still need you kan to as a center of the teaching and learning. So, all right. So I hope that discussion, you can use the Padlet to prolong the discussion. I'm happy to have some sort of discussion, and boleh teruskan dekat Padlet. Saya juga akan cuba juga jawab dan sebagainya. But this Padlet will be remain because I will not delete the Padlet. So you can remake. I allow you to remake, use for your own purpose, and maybe you can conduct the training within your friends at faculties and whatnot. But again, I would like to thank to UMP for this invitation. It's a good experience. I love this room.
Can I ask questions?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay.
Right, okay.
I did, testing about using the ChatGPT and doing some of the papers and all those things, and also see the result because some of the students also they're using the ChatGPT. Okay, what I can find out, I figured out is that when I chat with the 13-inch, and then it will detect it in ChatGPT, and then the numbers of ChatGPT actually is very huge, right? Because they are capturing by paragraph to paragraph, not by words, according to if you look into the similarity index, we shouldn't have any problems. There is a very less
Yeah.
on similarity index. But when we look into the ChatGPT, they say, okay, this word is using the the ChatGPT. The problem is when we identify that is the AI and then we try to change our paragraph and then we definitely the input is already changes at the first place. And when we do a lot of changes, but they are still remain as an AI. It's never changed. So
Yeah.
so how do we solve that? Is it we have to remove all and then redo again, or we just need to do some paraphrasing or something else? Thank you, Doctor. Understand your
There are many possible answer for your question because of the first number one, the thing is still under pilot testing. So there are a lot of hiccup. I already use that features and I identify that there are a lot of bugs and also something that they need to improve. Um, the number two is we are talking about the repository. So maybe it's something related with the repository because of you already uploaded and then you revise and then you check again. So maybe we can check with the repository. One of the biggest weaknesses of turning in because of they are not looking words by words. They are looking on the source and also the paragraph. That's the reason why we are not so much using turning in. We are using the original because of the original, while the similarity index is lower, but they able to track words by word, and also original is totally different. So meaning that normally we are get used to we so much get used with turning in because of kita dah biasa pakai turning in dan kita dah biasa baca begitu. Jadi bila kita baca present lain kita terbawa-bawa dengan pendekatan kita membaca data turning in. So that's the reason why the way that the software like turning in, original, Grammarly or whatnot, they have to teach us pedagogically how to read the similarity index. Sebab kadang-kadang masalahnya adalah bila kita rely too much on the percentage, rupanya dalam tu lagi banyak benda-benda yang lebih kurang sama. So I think that these are the things yang saya juga highlight pada turning in dan juga beberapa software company yang lain supaya mereka lihat juga perkara tersebut. Alright. Tapi very good concerns from you, Doctor. Alright. Alright, so I think that we are already at 12. I appreciate all the participants from the MS team and also my friend physically here. Thank you so much. Maybe I will try my best to share maybe any extra information from the colleague, the extension or whatnot. I try to share later. However, thank you so much UMP for the invitation. Thank you so much all the participants. See you again. Minta maaf kalau ada kekurangan, ada kesilapan dan sebagainya. InsyaAllah we still learn each other. And kalau ada benda-benda baru yang nak share dengan saya pun boleh juga. I'm happy to listen and maybe to learn from you. Alright. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum. Salam tengah hari. Sampai jumpa lagi. Goodbye. Thank you so much.